2 weeks on from the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, we make our way back for the first time in 5 years to the Shanghai International Circuit in China. 20 years on from the first ever event here as well, we're back, ready for another round at this amazing circuit. Verstappen winning 3 of the opening 4 races then, only being defeated by Carlos Sainz after his failure in the Australian Grand Prix. It's the Chinese Grand Prix in our first sprint race of the year before we head over to Miami in 2 weeks' time, followed then by our first stop in Europe, then Monaco, and then a quick trip over to Canada before Spain, Austria and Great Britain takes us to the halfway stage of the year. Hungary and Belgium lead us to the summer break before coming back with the Netherlands and Italy. Azerbaijan is the last European round before Singapore takes us then to the United States, Mexico, Sao Paulo and Las Vegas. The season rounding out with Qatar and Abu Dhabi in the Middle East. In the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen leads on 77 points to Sergio Perez on 64. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are closing in though, Leclerc on 59, Sainz 55. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri occupy 5th and 6th with George Russell in 7th. Fernando Alonso is 14 points clear to Lewis Hamilton, having one of the worst starts to a season in his career down in 9th place, just 10 points. Lance Stroll rounds out the top 10 on 9. On the second page, Yuki Tsunoda has 7 with Ollie Bearman on his amazing debut back in Saudi Arabia, still with 6 points of course. Hülkenberg and Magnussen 3 and 1, no points for Albon, Zhou, Ricciardo, Ocon, Gasly, Bottas or Sargent. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way on 141 points to Ferrari on 120. McLaren have 69, Mercedes in a battle with Aston Martin 34 to 33. RB have 7 with Haas on 4, no points still for Williams, Sauber or Alpine. Hello everybody and welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix. For the first time in 5 years we are back at the Shanghai International Circuit and this place is awesome. It hosted F1000 and now we are back in business. Welcome to watch-along coverage of the only practice session of the weekend because when we come back here, let's make it a little bit more difficult for the drivers. It's a sprint weekend and a new format as well. Today you get free practice, straight then into sprint qualifying. Saturday morning you get the sprint race and then in the afternoon you go into the normal qualifying session and then on Sunday the normal race. So it's modified to try and make it a little bit easier on everybody and a little bit easier to follow. I don't like it. I think we had a fine system last year where we had qualifying, sprint qualifying, then the sprint race and the main race as well. But JT, they've changed it. Let's see what it is. But first of all, back in China, what do you think of this track?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone as well. Yeah, it's a good circuit and good to be back here as well. And to answer your question, JB, it's for the start of the sprint race.
Right, for the F1 Fantasy League, yes.
Yes.
I thought so. So we've got to get our picks in after this practice session. That's going to be interesting as well. What do you reckon
They don't do sprint qualifying, so you've got 23 hours.
Right, we'll get that sorted then. What do you expect for the overall running of the sprint weekend? They have changed the format and sometimes it doesn't look good. Sometimes we might have a better weekend. What's your take on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the selection of circuits will definitely play a factor into it as well. Of course, it's practice 1, then in sprint qualifying on the Friday, and then Saturday is the sprint, then into qualifying for the main race, and then of course on Sunday it's the main Grand Prix as well. It's an interesting format, isn't it?
Because then we're gonna go racing, then we're gonna go qualifying. So
Yes.
it's bizarre. It's going to catch me out. I'd much rather have the two races side by side with each other. So I don't know why we're doing this weird format with qualifying. But we're a couple of minutes away from the start, and it is a difficult weekend. It's a tricky one to get going. So we're going to gear up and hand over to Simon Lazenby, who's in the UK studio. And he's going to give us all the latest information about how you can watch us this weekend, as well as we get ready for all to start the action. Then hand you back over to Simon, and then the start of the weekend.
Okay, here are the details for the weekend on Sky Sports F1. As we mentioned, just the one practice session to get set up right ahead of the first sprint qualifying of 2024. Build up 8 o'clock for an 8:30 start. On Saturday, it's a busy day, and the first time the sprint and qualifying have been on the same day. New format for the new season, 3:30 on air. The 100k sprint and qualifying build-up begins at 7. And enjoy the race itself over Sunday breakfast. We're on air at 7 with lights out at 8 a.m. And you can get onboards for every session with any of the 20 drivers and hear their team radio. If you're a Sky Glass, Sky Q, Sky Stream or Now customer, you can access this by pressing the interactive button on your remote control, or download the Sky Sports app to your phone or tablet. Log in with your Sky ID and head to the Sky Sports F1 channel to select your driver. Right, let's head up to David Croft in commentary.
Here it comes then, the first practice session. Yeah. Did you miss us? Welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix. For the first time in 5 years, we're at the Shanghai International Circuit. It's hosted Formula One since 2004. We celebrate the 20th anniversary of this great race, but it's our 16th time visiting this circuit as well. 5 years off, and the place looks better than ever. It's one of the most technical and challenging circuits on the calendar. A 5.451 kilometre circuit, a top speed of over 343.8 kilometres an hour. It's 213.6, 16 turns, elevation change at 7.30 metres. Pirelli bringing the tyre compounds that will be the middle range, C2 hard, yellow medium, and which is C3, and red soft C4 as well. And they will be launching down this fantastic pit straight, which the media centre locates just at the top, restaurant at the other end, and finally it all looks good. It's round 5 of F1 2024, and it's the only practice session ahead of a sprint weekend to get going here. Alongside me in the commentary box is Josh T and JT. We're all set. The conditions look superb. Yes, it's cloudy, but track temperature is high at 38 degrees, air temperature 22.4, there's a 25% humidity, no chance of rain, and a good 1 hour session before launching into the business for the weekend. Hello.
Hello, yeah, absolutely, and getting ready for green light in just under 3 minutes time, and it's definitely going to be, I think, a busy session.
A very pleasant 38 degrees here in Thailand, a very pleasant 10:30 a.m. Good calling, boys. Hello, Rod, who's watching along. It's 4:28 in the morning here in the UK, where me and Josh T are commentating from. And Josh T in a brand new studio setup for this weekend, so he too has his own commentary box. How is it? You said before we come on air, it's very weird. Everything is in the opposite position as what it usually is, because you're now on the right and you used to be on the left.
Yeah, it's weird. It's if if there was no walls, I would be able to see the back of my TV. It's basically just flipped, just
Yeah.
on the other side of the house, but it's still weird.
Well, it looks good. Looks like you are in a commentary box, actually, so it looks fantastic as we all
And
get
this
set to
isn't
go.
all.
No, you've got more to come, haven't you?
Over the next year or so, there'll just be little things just popping up everywhere.
Slowly but surely it'll change. Like, hopefully we'll have our green screen back soon and get that going as well. There's the big man, though, Zhou Guanyu. In a few moments' time, he'll become the first ever Chinese driver to race in Formula One at his home circuit. Been a lot of pressure on him over the past week. There's been a film released about him in the local Chinese cinema after they followed him over the last couple of seasons. How much pressure's on this man here, though? Max Verstappen leads the title on 77 points. Perez has 64, Leclerc 59. Red Bull lead 141 to Ferrari's 120 in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes only 1 point clear of Aston Martin. Lewis Hamilton having one of the worst starts to his Formula One season in his entire career. Just 10 points after the opening 4 races as well. There's a lot of work to do. But this is where the talking stops and the action begins as the green light goes on at the end of the pit lane and the Chinese Grand Prix weekend is go, and the first practice session ventures out. SHT says, the last time we raced here in Shanghai in 2019, the collision between Kvyat and both McLarens on that one, Albon's super recovery drive from pit lane to 10th in the Toro Rosso. Also, it was F1000. Yep, back in the day we did blogs about the weekend. So we did the Grand Review podcast as well. So that's available to go listen to. We are working on the possibility of getting the F1000 race out, but it was a boring race. Not much happened in F1000, and I had food poisoning that weekend. But out they go then onto the circuit. Joe Magnussen as well, and hopefully JT. This will be a very important session as we have cars on track for the first time in Shanghai since 2019. Nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And both Saubers out. And 16 turns, 62% full throttle. Top speed, as you said, is 343 kilometers an hour, 213 miles per hour. It's medium downforce, but high tyre wear round the Shanghai International Circuit. And it's not just Formula 1 heading here this year. Formula E are also going to be using a part of this circuit for their Shanghai E3 as well later on. But Zoe heads through turn 9 and through 10, and it is a tricky circuit. Going from 200 plus miles per hour into a hairpin, it's insane.
Really is. Let's hear from Esteban Ocon now. He's on the team radio. Let's see what he had to say as well. We've hit play. Let's hope it listens. Nothing on. Yeah, nothing from him. What about Kevin Magnussen?
GX3, please. GX3.
GX3. Interesting enough. Out the pit lane. Now comes Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Down that long back straightaway as well for Zhou Guanyu into the hairpin at turn 14. Really does kick on the back here as well. Let's hear from Checo Perez. He's on the radio too.
Positive about that. Positive on the brakes.
Positive out that as Zhou begins it. Now it looks like they've resurfaced parts of the track here. They haven't. What they've done is they've covered it with a tar paint to cover the original surface. So it looks new, but it isn't. So they haven't relaid the surface in the 5 years we've been away. They've just painted it with some tar paint cover, like you would see covering up cracks on a circuit. So it's not brand new tar. So the track grip should just be around about the same, if not a little bit more slippy. But what they have done is created a new grandstand area at turns 1, 2 and 3. So now there's a lot more viewer areas and shade cover, which I like. It does look good as Zhou's on a lap time, firing it through. It feels weird looking at the Chinese circuit again for the first time since 2019. Last time we were here, I had food poisoning. Not from, I wasn't at the circuit, but I had problems with it because, ironically enough, I had Chinese food a few days before, but I had a bit of food poisoning. And I was not well, 110%, only managed to do the race. After lap 1, I had to sit down. That's how you know I was not good. Let's go down the back straight away then for Zhou Guanyu. Ocon's got the first 2 deltas. Gasly's first sector is a 26.144. Second sector for Stroll, 29.725. Magnussen goes top with a 141.422. Now Ocon 141.123. He goes fastest. Some good lap times coming across the board. Let's take a look at Zhou Guanyu then, as he comes across. And Zhou goes third, 142.487. Bottas top though, 140.7. And they've got a brand new background to this circuit. When we first came here in 2004, there was nothing surrounding this circuit. The nearest city was miles and miles and miles away. Now they've built massive skyscrapers in the background of the place as well. They've brought the city to the circuit. And it does look good again, as we see lots of action down the back straight with Russell, Hamilton, Alonso, Norris coming in. And let's talk about Fernando Alonso, JT. Announced in between the break of the Japanese Grand Prix and the Chinese Grand Prix that he's re-signed with Honda for another 2 seasons. That takes him to the end of 2026 and will become the oldest driver in Formula One for the first time since 1975, with Graham Hill, who was 45 when he retired from the sport as well after the Monaco Grand Prix. So, and Hamilton gets a big twitch as he's won 6 Chinese Grand Prix, the most of any driver.
Josh,
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to go to bed. 139.497, 1.1 seconds in front, Max Verstappen. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, that's it. Sprint qualifying later on is not really going to be much of a qualifying session, is it? It's just going to be like Max tops every single session. Good night. But Max hasn't gone well here. Anyway, yeah, we'll get on to Max in a second. What do you think about Alonso signing another 2 years deal? And crucially, meaning that in 2026, he'll have Honda power units.
Yes, and that will definitely be interesting as Hulkenberg goes 4th. It's a interesting one because it removes him from all of the stuff going on with Mercedes right now, with Hamilton leaving there as well, which improves the theory of Antonelli going straight in if he wants to do that as well. And there is the replay of that big
snap mid-corner.
snap for Hamilton.
That's
But
worrying to have that happen mid-corner.
the Twitter post said from Alonso was Aston Martin here to stay. So yeah.
He's not leaving. As Checo with a few new updates on the Red Bull here this weekend. They've got a new front wing, Red Bull. They've brought. And they still like that little diamond cut in the front. They've had that since 2014, so nice to see that one back. Don't suppose you've got the radio transcripts ever working, because mine have got not working apparently. Oh, let's hear from Joe.
Front grip is not high, but it's not too bad.
Copy, Joe.
Yeah, so the track grip is not high, but it's not too bad. Ocon's got the fastest first sector of anybody so far as well, with a 25.840. That's just been taken by Bottas, 25.820. So, hang on a minute, 25.840, so yeah, now 25.786 for Alonso, fastest first sector. So it is coming down quite quick, JT, as Magnussen heads down to turn 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, after what happened last week, I think we are all happy that in changes to the circuit on the race director's event notes, one change to this circuit since we last came here, all sausage curves have been removed.
which is Mark Webber has a sigh of relief after he went flying here back in 2013. The only difference to the circuit as well in terms of majority is that coming out the last corner, and you'll see it here with Esteban Ocon if you're watching along with us on the TV pictures, is at the exit of the last corner, there's now gravel right off the racing line. And if you hit that gravel, you're going to go straight into the barrier. So that's a bit dangerous in my liking. But I quite like the fact that there's a bit of a challenge at that last corner now. It's not so easy for the drivers to get it 100% right as Alonso comes out the last two corners.
Yeah, Alonso did have purple sector 1. That
Been taken by
has
Verstappen.
now, gone to Verstappen.
Oh, 1:39.508, 11 thousandths of a second the difference at the moment. Won the 2005 Chinese Grand Prix, did Fernando Alonso. That secured the Constructors' Championship for Renault. It was the last Grand Prix of the season back then. Also the last race for Jim Rosenthal, who presented F1 from 97 to 2005. Ironically enough, I've just come back from, as I've just scratched my hand somehow, I don't know how that's happened. Yes, I've just come back from Donington Park, the British Touring Car Media Day, where we were live. There's a nice... Steve Ryder, yeah, I was going to say I just met Steve Ryder.
Every single time you come to China, you have your unwell noted.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah, I've got
Nice.
I've got heat stroke, despite the fact that it was sunny for all of 5 minutes, and it thundered and lightning for the rest of the day. But I've managed to get a bit of heat stroke, so I'm not feeling 100% today, and I do look very sunburned as well. But it'll turn into a nice tan. I'm perfectly fine though to commentate, so that's fine. Probably why we're not giving it our A game. At 4 a.m. Excuse me, as I'm yawning now, 4:40 a.m. Also, I stayed with my sister and her partner who's just got a new baby, 6 months old, my niece. And during the night, you could hear her crying a little bit. Not as bad for Kellyanne and Dan, I must admit. So hopefully they're okay. And they might be up now even as well. I don't know how they're doing it, especially as well. She's teething, poor thing. Piastri across the line. And jumps into 13th, 1:41.251. Yeah, I am generally now looking, by the way, to see if I can do touring cars next weekend.
Oh, are you?
I am generally looking at.
Wait, let me have a look at the plan, which you sent.
That is some Chinese fans for Lando Norris. That's absolutely fantastic coming in here. Now, what's this from the race events documentaries? New, here we go. So, new gearboxes for Stroll, Alonso, Albon and Ricciardo. New as well for Stroll, Alonso, Albon, Ricciardo. So that's a few new technical details coming in as well. I haven't seen anything from the race director's instruction notes so far. That's worth of note. Yeah, there's a new pit entry line, isn't there, JT? That's going to be causing a few issues because when you come in, you've got to go over Bollard because you can't go over certain areas. So Bollard's going to be a problem here this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good job that I remembered that it was British touring cars next weekend, because if I didn't remember, we would have been going to Silverstone for Silverstone 500, but we're not.
I'm glad you remembered, because we're at Donington. I could be at Donington Park.
Yes.
And it's the season opener. So,
Yes.
Ocon and Gasly, 6-7.
I can't miss the season opener.
I must admit, JT, you make it look hard. I ran into everybody at that test. I wasn't even trying. Alan Gow I ran into Alan Gow 4 times in the end, and he came out the media centre once.
There's one reason for that, Josh.
What?
You spend all day in the paddock.
I do.
I don't.
You were out on the track. Well, I did get trackside a few times, but I did spend all day in the paddock.
Yes.
But I do know. But now doing that, I know who's hot and who's not going into the season. So I've got an advantage.
Yes.
Can't wait. We'll hear all that in the pre-show for race 1 later on in the year. Only practice session though here for Formula 1 this weekend is getting spicy. The 2 Ferraris out there on the track, Sainz and Leclerc. Carlos Sainz into the last corner. Leclerc's just at turn 14 now. Sainz crosses the line, only goes 15 for the soft compound tyre, 141.109. Leclerc looking a little bit faster as he comes up. No, he's not going to do it either. Way off the pace of Verstappen. And Leclerc stays, goes up 16th, 141.118. Verstappen, though, fastest second sector and goes fastest by 0.6 to Perez, 138.498. Perez did have the fastest first sector. That's now been given to Alonso, and now he's off as well in sector 2. So he's not finding any times out there as well. As we head down to turn 1, and I believe to join Ted Kravitz.
Please by the side of it.
Hello, Crofty. Yes, welcome everybody down turn 1. So, before Martin Brundle comes back at Miami next time out, I've nicked his opportunity, nicked his tabard to come down to turn 1. As you say, Crofty, no rain, so there are, unlike Japan, cars on track. Although, as Karun says, this track was built on a swamp, so it's not actually sinking into the swamp. There's a bit of mud, but no snakes around, which I'm glad to say. Do you know next year's the
Red
Chinese Year
flag!
of the Snake?
Red flag! Sorry, Ted. Red flag's out. Someone stopped. Don't know why.
To wash the cars, because they're doing
Ted,
190 miles an hour into this. Yeah.
Red flag, Ted.
Ted,
Oh, there's
I'm
a
gonna
fire!
have-
Oh.
There's a fire! What the hell is this, JT? There's a fire on the track. There is
Got
a...
a brush fire.
Yeah. There is a bushfire on the track. Red flag's out.
There is a fire in the grass in 27.
Understood. Okay.
And I don't think
I've never seen this, JT. How's that happen? There's no sun directly at that part of the track, but there is a fire. And a crucial practice session has now been red flagged due to that fire. And that is down at turn 7, where Hamilton's coming through
And-
now.
It's F1, so they will not extend it.
No, they
Yay.
won't. So let's get some extinguishers out and get that sorted. Shouldn't be a long red flag. I was wondering what was going on. It's a wildfire. I've never seen this. The fire is increasing. Yes, it is. Blimey. Now, how's that? Look at that. What on earth has caused that, JT? How's that
No
happened?
idea.
It's very dry grass. Do you reckon it's the temperature? Yeah, get the extinguishers on it. Oh, don't walk in the fire, Marshall. What on earth are you doing? Walking over the burning grass. I've never seen this. In all my years commentating in Formula 1, I have never seen the grass catch fire. Well done, by the way, helicopters. Block the part. There we go. Oh, and now, okay. So we can't actually see the fire. But the track's on fire. Well, if you've just woken up, we're back in China. We're 16 minutes into the session. We've got a red flag because the grass is on fire. Never seen this happen in Formula 1 before. Reminds me of the bushfire of the V8 Supercars race in Darwin back in 2015. Oh, yes. Yeah, the bushfire, but I remember that. How does it happen, though? Track air temperature 22.9, track temperature 38.7, and it's just got very hot. Wow, okay. So now there's going to be a large burning part of the track. Why is it every time we go down to Ted Kravitz, something happens where we can't hear from him? Sorry, Ted. Martin Brundle's job is just too good. It's on fire because I'm being told it's on fire because it's just spontaneously combusted. Let's go down to Mike Crack.
really, really grateful that you've given some time to come and have a chat to us. This is very bad news for you and the rest of the teams, isn't it?
Yeah, hello, Crofty. Yeah, bad news, but it's the same for everybody, so not really a problem.
So, what was your run plan for today? What were you hoping to try and do during the 60-minute session that we have for practice?
Well, actually, you know, the first thing is a proper baseline run, which I think everybody has done now. About checking the car, checking the track. There seems to be not a lot of grip from the surface, but it's just a normal homework that you try to do in the baseline. track is turned green now again after the small interruption. So I think there's not so much disruption to the program, to be honest.
That's good. What do you know of the track surface from these early stages? What have the drivers been saying? And the fact that we've had that bitumen paint put down, how much of a surprise was that to you before you came here?
Yeah, you're right. There was not so much information coming here about the surface itself. We discovered this yesterday on the track inspection. The drivers have reported low grip. You see the lap times are also quite far from normal lap time or expected lap time. So I think there needs to be a bit of rubbering in over the next laps, and then it will be interesting in qualifying to see the track improvement and the driver improvement. So yeah, something to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you worry a bit, Mike, that we'll have a racing line with lots of grip, and then offline it won't get the chance to grip in a bit, and that might make overtaking a bit more tricky for the races?
Yeah, I understand the concern, but on the other hand, the overtaking is normally on the main straights, so where the DRS is. So I think through the corners it's probably true, but it is also the same for other circuits, that the rubber line is the most grippy one. So yeah, with the overtaking mainly on the straights, I think we do not see that procession.
Mike, it's Nico here. Just a very different topic. You just confirmed your one driver, Fernando, which is super. When can we expect you to confirm Lance? Surely that should be just should be done soon, right?
Yeah, it's something that I'm not really thinking about during a session, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, Aston Martin is Lance's home, so and we want continuity. So I think, yeah, over the next week we will see.
Excellent. Mike, good news. Thank you very much indeed. We'll be back talking to you a little bit later on.
So, track fire gone. The session can resume, but...
Now,
Go on.
I'm no firefighter, but something tells me that's going to be light.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. How do you stop it? How do you stop dry grass from doing the same thing?
Now,
Burn the whole thing up?
hopefully they have got a fire hose.
Why not do
on
that during the red
back.
flag? Why not do that during the red flag? They've just gone to an debate. Why not do it during the red flag that we had instead of cutting off live action? And oh, I hate Sky so much. Go on, JT.
Yeah, hopefully they have a small fire hose on the back and a small water tank, because wildland fires like that need constant water if it's hot, like how it is there. So, we'll see what happens.
We will indeed. Verstappen, top at the moment, 138.498. Then it's Perez, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Alonso, the top 5. Zhou, Ocon, Norris, Gasly, Magnussen has the top 10. Bottas, Albon, Hamilton, Sargent, Sainz, Leclerc, Piastri, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Russell. All that's on the highlights, by the way, JT, is fire. That's it. As we take a look. Hello, if you go to race control, there's all the onboards come first before you get to the multi-screen.
That's different.
Yeah, it's all down at the bottom now. That's annoying as hell. And that's not even right. Hang on.
Is that the multi on board?
I don't know what that... No, hang on. What's going on here? That's Russell's on board. I want the multi-screen. I've selected multi-screen. It's going to give me Russell again, isn't it? Yeah, Sky not having a great weekend.
Try the onboard mix, Josh, because they might have accidentally got them the wrong way around. That's happened before with me.
No, JT, I think everything is basically George Russell. Yeah, it is. Anyone like George Russell? You're stuck with him, I'm afraid. Sainz goes
Are
up to
all
12th.
of the other onboards Russell? Because that would be so funny.
Magnussen's on board. Let's take a look. He's out on the circuit. Russell! Joe!
They're all Russell.
Can someone, JT, can you search Twitter and say what's the hell's going on? Everything's Russell!
Let me just put George Russell into...
Well, it's good to know that George Russell is literally every single driver this weekend. George Russell exits the last corner, and George Russell wins, but despite George Russell not being at that part of the track. What on earth's happened? Literally, I don't even know. Every single channel on the Sky F1 system that we tried to look at there was literally all George Russell. Carlos Sainz had a moment, though, coming out of turn... Where is that? That's at turn 9. And Charles Leclerc looking stronger. We're about 50 seconds back now that we're trying to watch this session live, and it's not working to have any of the doubts, but I think we're coming back on in a second, which hopefully means we're going to head down to Ted Kravitz as well. We are, so let's head back to Crofty.
Carlos Sainz out on the track a few moments ago. This was at turn 10, one of 3 corners when they brought the gravel closer to the side of the track. Carlos Sainz finding out exactly where that gravel was and kicking up a large plume of dust into the sky.
Oh, look,
they
it's
put
George
out
Russell.
the small fire by the side of the track so we can get back
Don't
on
believe
with the
it's
race
George
now,
Russell.
The practice now, I should say. This is George Russell on the hard tyre for Mercedes, who stays 20th and slowest so far with a 1:41.1 as his best time. Mercedes putting their drivers on the hard tyre to start this session. Others like Ferrari going on the soft, few on the mediums as well. Real mixture of tyres out on this track currently.
Real mixture of tires and strategies. I mean, Mercedes is probably the most easy to understand and obvious one. That they've started with the hard tire on high fuel just to get that race balance sorted, and then they will go for some qualifying practice at the end of the session. Whereas the others are really doing a whole mix of things.
Yes.
So, session is out on the circuit. So, just being told in my ear that they are monitoring the fire, which is what we knew that was going to happen. So, they're keeping an eye on it, but not just at that part of the track down at, as well, at turn 7. They're monitoring all the grass around the circuit in case it happens. Because if it does spread...
happen anywhere.
Yeah. Verstappen goes between Hamilton and Hülkenberg. And Hülkenberg off the track there, trying to find a way through on Lewis Hamilton, coming out of turn 14 into 15. And then Hamilton goes off the track at 16 and has to come back into the pit lane over the curb. And bad memories here in China for Lewis Hamilton and that pit lane back in 2007, where he ran off the track into the gravel. They then since removed that gravel since Pastor Maldonado hit the wall there.
There was a lock-up for Verstappen as well. So Verstappen and Hamilton getting a little bit tied up again.
And they've touched. And Hamilton's got... I don't think Hamilton was meant to go through the pit lane there, JT. He's gone straight through. So I think Lewis has had a bit of an issue there, don't you?
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah, Lewis and Piastri having a moment. Let's hear from Hamilton.
I just got pushed off by Fernando.
You see, I said
Piastri.
it looked very real.
Okay.
It was a lockup.
Could someone tell Nico Rosberg to stop talking over the radio? So, should we hear that again? We'll wait for it to load in here so we can actually hear it. But it was Piastri forcing Lewis off, but Lewis tried to go around Piastri when he was starting a lap time. It's involving Hamilton noted for failing to follow the race directions instructions and crossing the pit lane entry line. And that's about following the bollard line. because it's such a wide pit lane entry here, you've got to follow the new rule because they've modified it, and he hasn't done so. Leclerc puts a bit of hope up Ferrari's wind as they go fast on the soft tyres. Leclerc 138.130, Sainz 138.382. The two Ferraris 1-2, 3/10 clear to Max Verstappen, 4/10 to Sergio Perez. Ferrari do run well here in China. Black and white flag for Lewis Hamilton for failing to follow race director's instructions at crossing the line at pit entry. So JT, they weren't kidding. Black and white flag already for Lewis.
Yeah.
Good. Following the rules. That's what I like to see. Lando Norris, 10th at the moment. 1:39.805 is his best lap time. As you get the confirmation for the black and white flag for Lewis Hamilton at the top here. By the way, the commentary lineups this weekend slightly different in the overall scheme of things as well. Megan's going to be joining us in the commentary box for sprint qualifying, the sprint qualifying in the race, the remaining sessions throughout the weekend. Hopefully, depending on what happens, Ian Birch will be joining us for the race only on Sunday, with it being my birthday. And we're going to hopefully have Omi join us for the remaining of the weekend. And hopefully as well, you, JT, will be here in the box as well. So unless Kieran comes back to us and he's going to join us, because we were going to have Jackson, but Jackson is trackside at Long Beach. As
I am indeed going to let my sleep schedule.
Yes. Let's take another look at it then, JT. This is Hamilton getting the pit lane entry violation. Here's Hulkenberg.
Race going on already.
Yeah, good practice, I guess.
Yeah, and Hamilton again, side by side. That's where Hulkenberg got forced off. Track surface slippery in sector 11. Now that is down at turn 9 and 10. What's happened there? Where Perez, Bottas, Russell coming through now as well. Blue livery this weekend for the Alpine, if you can tell. But let's go down to the pit lane and Craig Slater.
Yes, I'm stepping into big shoes, but never be afraid to walk a mile in another man's shoes, Crofty. Two reasons, of course. One, at the end of it, you're a mile away. Secondly, you've got his shoes. Billy Connolly there. But in terms of what was going on down here, Aston Martin, where I've been, yeah, Fernando Alonso, little pause for him, but nothing serious in terms of what his mechanics were working on. I think you noticed that on the world feed shortly, a little while ago. Just a setup change for him. He's now into a period of long runs, and I'm told not to expect any particularly fast times from him either. But I would say that the team here at Aston Martin very much interested in what Alonso can do under these curtailed circumstances. Is he the kind of guy? The track is a little bit difficult to properly improvise and drive around all the problems. So let's see. Also, nothing amiss with George Russell. His little spell in the garage earlier on, similarly a setup change only for him. But yeah, great atmosphere down here, and good to see full grandstands. The main grandstands well populated by the standards of China pre-pandemic. At least there were one or two empty seats still.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much there down in the pit lane for Craig Slater. But yeah, I'm by the way, yeah, I was right earlier on, just going back to what I said before the wildfire. Oh, Ted, never mind, down at turn 1. Finally, Ted Kravitz.
Thank Crofty. Yes, we've had flood in Japan, we've had fire in China. What else are we going to get? But what I can tell you is that being here on the inside of turn 1 is magnificent. It's mind-bendingly, beautifully quick how the cars are through here. They're doing 190 miles an hour at the end of the straight. So imagine doing 70 miles an hour, the most you can do on a motorway, and then imagine adding 120 miles an hour on top of that. Absolutely incredible. Then they're on the brakes from 8th gear and then down into turn 2, which is actually where they start to slow it down. We'll show you turn 3 in a second. I think the bump is still there. So the first bump you see, where the cars are bottoming out, is where the DRS line is. When they close the DRS over that line that the McLaren is just going over now, there's the balance shift, and suddenly there's a ton more rear downforce, and that actually pushes the rear of the car down onto its skid blocks. That's where you see the first bump, the sparks coming off the skid blocks. Then the second bump is actually towards the apex of turn 1. I'm seeing there's a bump there. The Ferraris, when they're absolutely on it, they're sparking, they're bottoming out on that bump there. Not so the Red Bulls, but also the Mercedes. Let's see, that's George Russell. No, he's not going full tilt into that corner. I've got to say, the two cars that look best through here are the McLaren and the Red Bull. And that's exactly what we've got here. As the Williams comes out the garage, slightly gets in the way of that McLaren. The McLaren looks great through turn 1, which is more than we can say than it looks into the slow corner here of turn 3. And this is absolutely fascinating because we saw a sort of lurid spin of that McLaren early on. On the exit of turn 3 here, the McLaren, Lando and Oscar, have been getting a dab of Oppo either side of every lap they've done. So the McLaren looks terrible in the slow speed. I can understand why the drivers complain about it. Otherwise, the RB as it's coming there, not so bad, just the drivers getting smoothly on the power so as not to get too much oversteer coming out of there. Let's see what the other RB of Yuki Tsunoda, car 22, can do. I mean, it looks slow through here compared to turn 1, but it's still from 62 miles an hour in turn 2 down to about 50 on the apex, and then they're accelerating back up to 140 miles an hour as they go through 4 and 5. An absolute pleasure to watch here. Crofty, I'm going to go to the flaming, quite literally, turn 7 and see what that was all about.
Thank you very much down there as well, as we will keep an eye on all of the action as well.
Making his way through turn 2 and 3. And it's not a surprise to me, Nico, that Ted's saying the McLaren not looking great as that series of corners goes on, because slow speed turns, slow speed corners, that's kind of been the Achilles heel for the McLaren team, not this season, but also part of last season as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's wait a little bit. It's still early days here, and for example, Norris is on the hard tire, so whereas everybody else has been on medium.
Indeed they have, as they finally get the action up here in the session, as we now take a look with Daniel Ricciardo into the last corner, just running a little bit wide on the hard compound, across the line, and 16th fastest for him. Hamilton, who's 18th, looking a little bit better, coming into the last corner then as well, down at turn 16, boots it hard, and Hamilton up to the line, and goes up to 8th, 1:38.882 on the hard tyre. Is actually quite impressive there, JT. And he's done all this session on the hard tyre. He wants to have all the softs and mediums available later on in this session, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. As Alonso goes from 12th up to 10th.
Doesn't want to lose anything out.
Yeah, Verstappen in 3rd, Leclerc and Sainz 1st and 2nd, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be good there.
Hamilton's come through the pit lane 3 times in this session. Once, of course, during the red flags. That doesn't count. So everybody, I don't think everyone's changed tyres yet to a brand new set. Let's have a look. No, everyone who's out there has stayed on the same tyre compound and exactly the same run. So they haven't just come in and done it over. Victory at the Chinese Grand Prix will be the 30th different venue that Max Verstappen has won at, which is impressive. Very, very impressive. Hello, everybody watching on. I'm reminded, actually, JT, I don't know if you remember this, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was about it was either 2015 or 2016. But do you remember the man who jumped over the railings onto the circuit, ran across the track into the pit lane because he thought free practice meant that he could go and have a go in the cars? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Just reminded me about one of the weirdest things I've seen here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Just ran across the track and thought he could have a go. I think he ended up at the Red Bull garage. Quite funny. on board with Max Verstappen. He's twitching a little bit. How long? Medium tyres for him. 15 and 6 adds up to 21 laps on that tyre. I'm just trying to work out how many laps they've done. 12. So this is 15 laps for Max Verstappen. Completing this session, now 16, so there we go. So they are old, medium compound tyre, but at least they know they can run the distance.
Yeah.
Clear in sector 11, by the way. I don't know if a sprint race is going to work here. Also, I don't like the fact...
not.
Yeah, go on.
Sprint races work at flowing circuits.
This isn't a flow.
This is probably the most not flowy circuit on the calendar.
It's technical, it's challenging, and I don't know what they're thinking. And why put it now that we get the qualifying session after the sprint, which means that if you damage your car in the sprint, you're not going to take part in qualifying. So an accident on Saturday morning affects your Sunday race, which is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Yes. Now, why don't they just do what is normally, like what happens in every single other series which has multiple races, which is one qualifying session, then race 1 on Saturday afternoon, then race 2 on Sunday.
I just thought, you don't even need my TV pictures, do you? Because you've got your monitor directly above me.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Didn't think of that. And no one else in the comment box, right?
No, you can turn your combox cam on if you want.
I'm just about to do that, yeah. If it works. Because now Discord's having a freeze on me. Hang on. I just thought of that.
Nice. So Charlotte Leclerc fans in force as Hamilton
God, trying to get this
goes
laptop
out
to do...
of the hairpin.
Trying to get this laptop to do anything when it's on everything else is literally hell.
Hello.
Can you see me? Yes, there we go. Hello. There you go.
Yeah.
That works, finally. Am I glitchy? Or am I okay?
I think you're good.
Oh, good. Right, back to the action then. Now that JT can see me. Leclerc, 138.090. It comes in handy in the touring cars when we see this, when he's got his own picture, so I don't have to share mine. I forgot actually. If JT's in the box, it means that and it's only JT. That means I can turn the combox camera on because he's got the TV pictures.
Yes.
So
having a.
God's sake. Now none of us have.
Well, it's either a 40 or 42-inch TV. Right, I'm gonna have a look at my red button and see who is on all of the channels. Because why not?
It's got to be Russell, hasn't it? Has to be George. To come into it. Wish we had the ability to just plug in F1 TV and listen to them for a few moments as well. That would be nice. Hello to John. He says, hi JB, hi all, and JT. So, hello everyone. SHT says, that's a weird one. The temperature wasn't that high. Hello. And to have a bushfire on that grass and in this temperature, that is bizarre. Still don't understand it myself as to why that happened. Hello, JT. We might have it back now, look, because it looks like they've got it sorted. Let's have a look, see, shall we?
Fire is fire.
Hey,
fire
they fixed it.
Weird.
They fixed it.
Was your multi-screen at the top for you, or was it at the bottom?
Mine was at the top. Where's yours?
Top, and it's working.
Yep. Mine too.
Looking at the Kick Sauber team right now, 18:15 on the clock for me.
18, 11, 10, 9, 8 for me.
Oh, Alonso, top right.
Oh, and where's he gone? Hang on, Alonso's missed the pit lane entry. Alonso's gone on the Formula E layout on the pit lane entry. So Alonso has missed the pit lane entry and has gone straight on to where the Formula E layout is going to be at the back half of the circuit. How's he done that? He almost went completely back onto the circuit.
He looked at the wrong track map.
Yeah. I want to see a replay of that. Here's Fernando. We saw it first on the Combox monitor then before anybody else. So if you're watching on the world feed, you're going to see it in a second, but we saw it before anybody else. Fernando Alonso going wildly off track. Let's take a look at it again. So here we go.
Is this...
Does he lock up? Yes, he does. Locks up and goes straight onto the other layout. Oh, and does a 360 spin. That was well controlled by a world champion. Well done. I've never seen anyone do that. But that's the layout for Formula E. Okay. That is a new one.
Are they going to have to put... I haven't looked... I've looked at the track map, but I can't remember. Are they going to have to put a chicane in the middle of the backstretch?
For what?
Formula E, or did I not use the long backstretch?
You know where Alonso just went off the track?
Yeah.
That cuts back to where turn 80 is, where Stroll is coming through now. So that would basically just cut it off. So they only use the first two sectors. They're not using sector 3.
Got it.
So they go straight over. I've got a lap guide planned because I've got it on R Factor.
Nice. And Formula... not Formula E, touring cars are factor until 2026.
Is this back yet? Yeah, here it is. This is really bizarre from Alonso. Just locking up and going straight on behind the barrier. Then doing a 360 in a way. Right, hang on, let's have a listen.
Tender age of 42, Nico Rosberg will explain that was all part of the preparation.
I have to say it again?
Yes.
Oh, so yes, that was it's part of the preparation because pit entry is important to find the limit there as well. So it's part of the scanning process where he then decided, okay, I'm going to go super aggressive, so I know where the limit is, and there he just went beyond. So to me, it looked like a good thing to do.
Yeah, that was all for our UK viewers.
Oh, there we go.
Putting the kettle on while it happened in real time. You see, we thought we'd go back and say it all again.
Right.
So it's like a 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, because we don't get the overall action for some reason.
It's an interesting track, isn't it? The Shanghai E3.
Oh, have you seen the layout?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it
just
really
looked
is.
at it.
Hopefully it'll be fun. But another permanent circuit. Hey-ho.
When I first thought of it, I thought it was going to only use a part of the circuit, but they're using...
Majority, yeah.
Like, yeah.
All bar the backstretch.
Yes.
First race in China since Sanya. And that was a red flag fest. Sargent really is flying hard now. 25.715 first sector, 29.383 second sector. Sargent goes second. 138.317 on the soft compound tyre. Beating Sainz by 65 thousandths of a second. Interesting. Interesting. What are Ferrari doing to go this slow with Sainz? Interesting. And this is... it wasn't even the best lap from Sargent. He was scruffy at the back of the track. He got kicked up some dust. So there's more time in that Williams as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. Right, JT, how long have we... Let's hear from Sargent.
3.
That was terrible.
Yes, it was. But it was second fastest, so well done, Logan. Let's have a look at Oscar Piastri. Into the pit lane. Does he lock up as well? Yes, he does. Now, that's alarming me, JT. That's 2 lockups we've seen in that part of the track now.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous pit lane entry in Formula 1, but... Well, maybe thinking about it as well, Belgium needs improvement. But why are they having so much trouble?
And overtake's illegal or they
yes,
were
they are.
legal.
They are
Yeah.
legal, yeah. So you can overtake in
And
the pit
we've
lane.
seen it before. 2018 comes to mind.
Sebastian Vettel getting frustrated with the safety car and diving through everyone. Sainz looking okay now, third for him. But he's going to improve. Brand new... No. 10 lap old tyres he's done. Some fans watching on.
Just pan the camera, then you see a massive
Yeah.
£1,000 camera just look off at you.
I must admit, when I was at Donington a few days ago, you do get some looks walking through, especially when I had a tripod with a phone and a power bank strapped to the holding, the holding clip of the phone as well, and having a wireless backpack on. However, I must admit that the wireless mic worked really, really well. Doing that again, basically connected my iPad to my phone's hotspot and joined the Discord call with a separate thing. So basically, I had a wireless microphone, which means I could put the camera down and walk around places, which it really works when you're solo. But ideally, I just like a wireless mic adapter instead of having a lead, because then it'd be easier to have a conversation. Let's have a look at let's have a look at Albon then. However, I have got ideas to go wireless, even more so in the future.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Oof. Right, let's have a look then. Albon fastest, 1:37.229. With 10 minutes to go at first practice. Williams are 1-3. And Albon's fastest in every single sector. Sector 1, 25.367. Sector 2, 29.060. Sector 3, 42.802. I think, JT, that's a massive, massive, massive improvement for Williams. But the chassis been repaired, of course.
Yeah. Do they have a spare one?
No, not until Miami.
Yeah.
So
it's RB, isn't it, who have a spare one coming in this weekend?
Yeah,
They have a
and
spare one
Alpine.
available?
Yeah, and Alpine. They've got a spare chassis. Everyone else has a spare chassis already.
Yeah.
Do you know, I really want to get into the pit. I really do want to go next weekend for the touring cars. Because then I'll be there at the season launch, I'll be there at the halfway point of the season, and then I'll be there at the end of the season as well. Because I'll be at Donington, Knockhill,
You just
Grand GP.
talk to all of the same people that you did, and they said, and if they remember, you go, oh well, and imagine if someone says, well, the first half of the season has flew quickly, we're now here at Knockhill,
Yeah.
and it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Because you weren't
Hi,
meant to
how
be
are you?
on site until Knockhill.
Yeah, they all knew that as well. I said, yeah, I'm not going to be on site to Knockhill. So,
Then you just randomly appear.
surprise, I'm here at Donington.
Incredible.
Oh, it's so tempting to do that. Really is. Thing is, it's possible as well. It's easily doable. I could just be there for the Sunday race as well. Like, I could do the qualifying session from here and then go to Donington on the Sunday.
Let me have a look
yeah.
at the schedule in the background.
Perez 1:37.158 goes fastest. Well, it's IndyCar Barber, so if I leave that in your hands, Jess, and take that race off.
Yeah.
Verstappen 1:36.660, 5/10 faster than Perez. Never mind. And of course, Moto 3, Moto 2, Moto E won't be live anyway. 1:37 as well. Oh, Hamilton's off at turn 6. Hamilton's off at turn 6, but has continued. So Hamilton's had a moment as we see Ted Kravitz at turn 7.
So Ted's down at turn 7.
Yes, thank you very much, Chief Inspector David Croft. It's Fire Marshal and Fire Safety Officer Kravitz here, and I have a reason. So first of all, we're in the just on the outside of turn 7. This is the super fast left-hander that pretty much dominates the second sector. But as we just see the Red Bull going very slowly in the Alpine, I'll show you where the patch. So just look at that Aramco signage and then look at the bottom of it. On the other side it says Qatar Airways, which is what you might have seen. But just below you can see the scorched grass as to where the fire was. And if and when we get a car, they're all on slowdown on charge laps at the moment. Just where that Sauber is now, the cars bottom out. Let's see if we can see if there's a McLaren who's actually going for it. No, he isn't. But just on the apex of that corner, specifically, the cars do bottom out and they are producing sparks. And with the wind blowing where it is, so just downwind, I can absolutely imagine that the reason for that fire was that there was a spark that came off the car's skid blocks and then traveled downwind a bit and then hit that patch of dry grass. I say dry, it's surprising because we've only had a day of dry weather here. Wednesday was absolutely pouring with rain here in Shanghai, so the grass has actually dried out quite successfully for that to catch fire. But here we go, we've got a Ferrari actually building up some speed through here. Let's see if we can see the bump. No, we can't. They're not absolutely on full loading through there. There's an Alpine. It does, yeah, there you go. You see a trail of sparks going through that area, Crofty. So I've got no doubt that it wasn't an errant cigarette or anything that caused that fire. I've got no doubt that it was a spark from a car. But yeah, incredible to see. Of course, this is the first year that we've had the ground effect cars actually coming through these parts of the Shanghai International Circuit. And while the Haas doesn't look too bad through there, I've got to say, watching here for a few minutes before you joined us, the best cars again are the Ferrari, the Red Bull, and funnily enough, the McLaren through here looks absolutely brilliant, completely planted. It's not that the Alpine looks out of shape. They're all fully loaded with downforce through here. It's just that it doesn't hug the inside of that apex quite that well. And then Ocon and Gasly, and then the drivers such as Hülkenberg and Magnussen aren't able to get on the power as quickly as the McLarens and the Red Bulls into turn 8. So that's it from trackside, and we've solved our little fire question. So yeah, mystery solved down here at turn 7, Crofty.
Thank you very
Fire
much.
investigator Kravitz.
Yeah. Gets the job done, doesn't he?
And I don't know if you were paying attention to the barrier setup where Ted was.
Yep.
There's no Armco barrier behind the tire wall where Ted was standing.
Oh.
The only thing between Ted and the track was the tire barrier.
That's going to be very alarming, you say, if somebody, I don't know, hits it.
Because I know that that's a media hotspot, so that will be interesting.
Front wing flexing there on Piastri. Over the straight, just saw it. Under load, that's interesting. Everyone coming out there with new softs now. Madison's gone P2. Piastri's going to go fastest, 1:36.629. Onboard cameras are half a second slower than what we all see here. So I saw that coming a mile away. Norris Magnussen incident has been noted for impeding. Oops, and Norris runs off the track, and now everyone's impeding Lando Norris. Hülkenberg third, 1:37.101. And apparently, according to Multiviewer, the AI transcript radio is having issues reading the feed from F1 TV, so it might not be up for the rest of the weekend. Just to let you know. But they are going to try and fix it. So that's annoying for us, because that's a very useful tool we use up here in the box. That's disappeared. But we can still hear the radio, including that of Max Verstappen. Here he is.
So
Hopefully.
during this slow lap, try to focus on keeping temperature in the front tyres.
Okay. Norris pits after the fastest first two sectors. I thought he might have come in and done something different, but yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. I've just realised.
We'll do a practice start there, go on.
me trying to get out of my little bit of a sticky situation on F1 Fantasy, I think I've put myself in a more sticky situation.
Why? What have you gone for?
0.2 cost cap with both Haas drivers and one Haas team, and I can't really do any changes because of cost cap.
Oh, you are in a bit of a sticky situation there, aren't you?
I am going to have to work that out. Not now.
In the gap, yeah. We've got a big gap before qualifying. We're on 8:15 British Summer Time. Session starts 8:30. Perez 3 thousandths up, but then makes a mistake down to turn 9 and 10. Go on.
I'm going to bed straight after this because, and unfortunately I won't be with you for sprint qualifying because I have to leave at 8:30.
Yes, obviously.
Yes.
I don't know whether or not I'll go and get 2 hours sleep or not. It's tempting, isn't it? You can get up at 7:45.
Yeah.
So that's 2 hours sleep.
That was a lot of sparks from Perez.
Yeah, so it's Perez who started the fire. Again?
He's saying we didn't start the fire.
I was about to say that. Billy Joel's going to write a song about us at this point. With everything that's going on. Perez 61 thousandths off. That's how much he lost in that run. Piastri still fastest by 31 thousandths to Verstappen. Stroll's got the fastest second sector. Verstappen had a poor first sector. Okay, second sector. And does not improve. 58 thousandths off the pace. So this is getting a bit tasty. Here comes Lance Stroll then. 19th fastest at the moment. But fastest second sector. Can he do anything across the line? Lance Stroll from 19th to top. 1:36.302. Lance Stroll is fastest in this practice session. By no means do I think that's going to be what happens in qualifying later on. At all. Like,
yeah,
at all.
Both of the Red Bulls are separated by 30 thousandths of a second. Both of the Hasses are together as well, 17 thousandths.
96 thousandths for Bottas and Joe, 10th and 11th. Ferrari are the biggest, actually, with 2 tenths between them. And Hamilton and Russell, 33 thousandths between them, but 17th and 18th. They've only run on the hard tyres, though.
Yeah, Norris and Alonso have run on the hard tyres as well, and then Gasly's just in an Alpine on a soft tyre, hence why he's 20th.
Checker flags
Sorry,
out.
sorry Gasly, but you're driving an Alpine, you're half a second slower than last year.
Alonso's taken the flag, he's the first to do so. Leclerc takes it afterwards. Hulkenberg takes it as well. That's it. I don't want to say this because it doesn't really seem like real and it's going to choke me a little bit. Lance Stroll ends practice fastest. Ooh. That felt wrong. How's he done that? That's the bamboo.
Lance Stroll does Lance Stroll things, Josh.
Do not get how that happens. Okay. Ocon's still on lap time though. He's looking fast. 7th at the moment. 25.270 sector 1, 28.745 sector 2. Let's see what he's got in the last corner. Ocon boots it. No further investigation for Norris and Magnussen for impeding. Checker flag. Ocon stays 7th. No improvement there. I don't think anybody's improving, JT.
Well, yeah, that's definitely something.
Stroll.
By three tenths as well.
Yeah, I'm worried. Soft tyre run as well.
Have they disguised the RB20?
No, it's not Lance Stroll actually driving, that's why.
It's the Stig's Chinese cousin.
Nah, he's not Kung Fu fighting everywhere. I remember that episode. Do you? When they go over to China and then Stig's Chinese cousin.
Yeah.
Kicks open the door. Then kicks James May. What a... I've missed that show.
Oh, would it be the Chinese cousin for China, or would it be the Canadian?
It was just it's Jacques Villeneuve in the car. Well, even Jacques Villeneuve can't do a jump. So who's got in the car then? Because that cannot be Lance Stroll. Can't be. He's quick. That's really alarming. Albon 8th, that's good. So, end of the first session. The cars now come and do their practice starts. Bar Albon. That's, why isn't Albon done a practice start? Considering that this is the only chance we're going to have to do them all weekend.
Because physics.
Well, Albon's screwed, so's Gasly.
And it also could not be Alex Albon in the car because he's 8.
Yeah. Joe Granier is going to take the opportunity and start on pole position.
First and last time this season.
Verstappen V.
Sorry. Sorry. Oh, it's Bottas.
Oh, it's Bottas. Where's Joe? Coming out the last corner. Max. Good launch from him. Lewis builds up the revs. 3,000, 4,000, 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 RPM. Come on, Lewis. Away. That was a poor start from Lewis. Really, really poor. Joe's coming out to the grid. 2 starts this weekend, remember? The sprint race Saturday morning. And then the Grand Prix on Sunday afternoon.
Is Albon the only car who has not taken a practice start?
No, Gasly too. Gasly's gone in the pit lane. So them 2 are the only 2 that haven't. Which is odd.
It's a sprint weekend. You've got 1 race start on Saturday, 1 race start on Sunday, and you don't do a practice start for it. Yes, you've got practice starts in the pit lane, but they're different.
Yeah, actual grid data, and you go, nope, not at all. Don't want to do that. Really strange.
Did Logan Sargent do one?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Did he do it at the front of the grid, or did he go to the back of the grid so he gets the best data?
Probably the back one. Although you have to go roll up in the front. It's 2 by 2.
I am going after everyone today.
Good thing Omi's
Megan
here.
isn't here, so I'm stepping in.
Megan and Naomi will be with us in sprint quali later.
Yep.
I think I will go for 2 hours sleep. I'm feeling giddy now. I need to sit down. My heat stroke's getting to me a little bit. What's this from Gasly? This is why he hasn't done a practice start then, JT. Oh, let's hear the radio.
Guys, this is not acceptable. I haven't learned anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Sorry about that, mate. We will have a look at these issues and try and get ready for sprint quality.
Oh. He's got an issue, JT.
Didn't sound good, the car, did it?
No, very throaty. Oh, wow, it's hit me like a ton of bricks. Whew.
Someone's not happy.
Daniel
Just like
Ricciardo.
how Dowda Loon was happy as well.
Ricardo's on
Touring
wets.
cars.
Yeah. Dal Dion was not happy, let me tell you. He was on the phone all day, hanging around the back of the paddock.
The car is not carring.
He only did 1 lap, and it was in the rain. That's going to be fun.
When you were hiding in the garage. Anyway, here's the results. And that's going to be a screenshot, which is going to go down in history.
It's Lance Stroll fastest, from Oscar Piastri 2nd and Max Verstappen 3rd. Sergio Perez is 4th. Nico Hülkenberg is 5th. Kevin Magnussen 6th. Esteban Ocon 7th. Alexander Albon 8th. Daniel Ricciardo 9th. Valtteri Bottas rounds out the top 10. Joe Granier is 11th, from Yuki Tsunoda 12th. Charles Leclerc is 13th. Carlos Sainz is 14th. Logan Sargent 15th. Lando Norris 16th. George Russell 17th. Lewis Hamilton 18th. Fernando Alonso 19th. And Pierre Gasly is in 20th with issues. So then, JT, what did you make of that session?
It was interesting. It was Red Bull on top, but then after the red flag, it went all chaotic. And, well, noted F1 cars can cause fires.
Seems like that's the possibility. Well, my thanks to you, JT. We'll see you tomorrow for all the action from the sprint races. Omi and Megan will be with us in the sprint quali. That's coming up in 2 hours' time. You can join us for all the action then. From us all here. Bye for now.